Hello, my name is Michaela No, and my project is called Cooklist App UX Redesign. To introduce what Cooklist is a mobile app that allows users to keep track of their pantry items through inputting items and expiration dates, giving users the ability to check what they have in their pantry in the comfort of their own phones. It also provides features such as recipe making, meal planning, and suggesting what recipes can be made with available ingredients. I've decided to do my project on Cooklist to make it a more usable and motivating app users can use to track their pantry for the reason to reduce food waste. When researching on UN's Sustainable Development Plan, I read that an estimated one-third of all food produced, which is equivalent to 1.3 billion tons, is wasted. It really is a privilege to be surrounded by abundance of food, and since food consumption is part of our daily lives, people seem to not realize how harmful wasting food is to our environment. While pondering on how we can adopt a sustainable lifestyle to reduce food waste, I came across Cooklist, a pantry tracking app. We've all produced food waste at least once in our lives, either by letting our fruits and veggies spoil or ordering more than we can. And I realized that feasible plans can be made to minimize this harm. The individual action of responsible pantry tracking to reduce food waste sounded realistic and attainable. I hope to contribute with my UX design an app that can encourage sustainable lifestyles by offering practical methods to reduce waste through easy and motivating food management. First, to generally see how food waste was being combated, I conducted heuristic evaluations on two websites. The first one being Further with Food, which is a center for food loss and waste solutions. This website contained a lot of and provided a lot of valuable information, but the poor organization of the resources made it overwhelming to use and incomprehensible. The second one was Imperfect Foods, which is a website that reduces food waste by providing grocery delivery services with imperfect foods that would have gone to waste. This was aesthetically pleasing, but the lack of user freedom made it hard to use. I also conducted a usability test to further confirm my concerns and possibly learn about other usability issues that might arise during the test, which I indeed did find. Now, after the analysis, I wanted to gain a better understanding of the user's needs and behaviors, so I did a contextual inquiry where I conducted an interview at my participant's house, asking their needs as well as observing how my participant organized his pantry. UX storytelling. So, although cooking and eating is part of our daily lives, everyone has their own unique ways of organizing the pantry, buying groceries, and tracking food waste. We all have different lifestyles, so I created personas and scenarios to consider these differences and account for all possible pain points and ways to help different users with various lifestyles. With the personas and usage scenarios in mind, I came up with 3 features they could find useful in solving their problems. The first one being a layout that shows clear indication of expiration dates and organized categories, a waste indicator that shows personal progress, expenses, and waste, as well as a quick recipe feature where users can quickly add their personal recipes. Now, to test how users will interact with my application design in the early stages of designing, I created a low fidelity prototype to learn from their feedback and interactions and revise accordingly. This is the wireframe that I created, this one being the task where they can see their personal progress, expense, and waste, and this one seeing finding expiry items. So I kept in mind the personas and scenarios and sketched a simple layout that can be quick and easy to use for busy students, working adults, big families, busy parents with children, and anyone who frequently grocery shops and cooks. I found that users should not feel frustrated or overwhelmed when using the app and be able to quickly track their pantry. The app should help rather than make pantry tracking a tedious task. So I used Figma to create an interactive prototype, as we can see here. where users can go through each section and be able to see what's expiring right away. In the expiring student section as well, they can browse through their sections and see just the expiring student items. So it's easier to find, as well as categories, where they can quickly choose which one they want to see. Now, when we go to progress, we can see the progress of expense and consumption summary for this month and the history of the months. And here we have graphs that depict how much the user used for every single day of the week. Users are able to browse through these and see previous weeks to compare how much or how much less they use. They can also go to month to see their weekly use, as well as how much they wasted and spent. They can also track their food consumption and waste and see the progress for the week, how much they ate, as well in the month, how much they consumed and how much they wasted, as well as a pie chart that depicts the categories of what they ate the most. If they wanted to see specifics, they can look down this chart and see how much they have eaten and how much of what they have wasted. So thank you for listening to my pitch. I think the biggest thing I learned was how long and meticulous the whole UX design process is. There are definitely many steps before the design process that had to be done, but I really enjoyed how we were able to research and get feedback right away and then implement those changes accordingly. Whenever I would have an assumption on users or create a prototype, there are always some new feedbacks that I didn't even think of. And I think that is where the beauty and fun lies in UX design, the both research and designing part. And as someone who enjoys interacting with people, the research process was definitely more enjoyable than I thought. But for the design process, I realized how long it can take, as I felt very indecisive, as sometimes not being sure which would provide the best experience. So now I learned to appreciate the UX/UI design of apps I see today, and will keep in mind of how I feel when using apps to further understand how those apps make me feel and how to make a product more usable. Thank you.